Hi, this is Paul Merca, and I am here in San Francisco to cover the Nike Spring 2010 Global Running Summit, where several journalists from around the world are here to see what Nike has in store for the Spring 2010 season. And this event is being held in conjunction with the Nike Women's Marathon, which occurs on October 18th here in downtown San Francisco. Behind me is the Runners Expo for the Nike Women's Marathon. It's a very lively environment here at Union Square in San Francisco. While we're here, let's go see what Nike has in store for the runners in spring 2010.
Finishing the Beijing Marathon at the Olympics. And, you know, one thing they all share in common, actually, Nathan finished ninth. He was the first American finisher as well. So, you know, one thing they all share in common is that they're incredible distance runners. Another thing, if you look at their feet, is that they're also really, really big fans of this shoe called the Nike Lunar Racer Plus, which is a shoe we introduced a year ago. And this is the shoe, just in case anybody hasn't seen it. And what was really unique about this shoe is that it really defied conventions. Typically, the conventional wisdom around racing flats was that they had to be low, you know, because people wanted to be close to the ground. They had to be light, which is obvious, you want as little weight as possible. But they also had to be hard, people thought, because they wanted that really responsive feel off the ground. But our innovation teams thought, you know, that doesn't really make sense. Nobody wants a hard shoe. So they did a lot of work, a lot of innovation work, and created this Lunar Light system, which was introduced in this shoe, the Lunar Racer. And what these athletes talk about, Dathan in particular, talked about specifically after Beijing, even though the conditions were so hot and humid, he felt that he recovered much more quickly after running in the Lunar Racer as compared to a typical running flat, because it has that really low height as well as that really light weight, but it's really super well cushioned, which is just incredibly unique for a shoe in this weight zone. So this is something that Dathan was super excited about, Kara, Duncan, a lot of these elite athletes that we have the good fortune to work with. So that's something that was very unique to the shoe. Another thing that was introduced here was this flywire upper construction, which allows us to provide really great fit around the midfoot, really lock down the foot, but with incredibly lightweight. And that's another thing that these athletes talk about, because the Lunar Racer is also unique in that it provides a really nice snug fit around your foot, but this upper material is stretchy, so it's also accommodating, which is great as you get into the later stage of the run and your foot is starting to swell, so you need a little bit more room in the shoe. That's something that's also pretty unique in a racing flat. So these are things that these guys really love. And as we started to think about, you know, how could we improve on this, we made sure to talk to them. And as Phil mentioned, we're lucky enough to have a lot of these athletes on campus a lot. And the He talked to Dathan a lot. Dathan was very vocal, and he gave us a pretty specific piece of humor. He felt like it was, just such a unique experience that he didn't want us to screw it up. So we kept that on board. That was kind of our first point as we thought about how to update the shoe, was to keep that magic, that incredible blend of cushioning, lightweight, and response, as well as that great fit around the foot that still was accommodating. He did mention some things, though. One thing was that he wanted a little bit better durability. As you can see here, there's not that much rubber on the bottom of the shoe because we wanted to keep the weight down as much as possible. But he said that he really was burning through the bottom of the shoe and the heel as well as through the forefoot. So he said, if you could make it a little bit durable, that'd be great. One other thing that he and the fielder athletes talked about was support. And they didn't want a controlling stability shoe, but they said, particularly near the end of a race, they could do with maybe a little bit more support to get them through those last few miles. So that's something we took on board. And then finally, this is something that we're always just obsessed about, which is fit. Because in talking to runners, whether it's elite runners or just everyday weekend joggers, we know that fit is the thing that they talk about most. They always talk about fit being the key attribute in any shoe. So we thought we could do better there as well. So as you can see up there, this is what we ended up with. A shoe called the Lunar Racer 2 Plus. And I think at first glance, it's pretty clear that it's a Lunar Racer. But if you look closer, you can see that there's a lot of updates. First, in terms of keeping the magic, we kept the same formula in terms of the midsole, that great Lunar Light midsole platform to give you incredible cushioning with very, very little weight. Still very, very low to the ground, same midsole heights as the previous Lunar Racer, so those are all consistent. But in terms of the things that Dathan talked about, I'll take you through them.